Hello, everyone. It is the 5th of July, 2026, and I just finished, to my own satisfaction, this chipping sparrow. And I picked the chipping sparrow because it is one of the most common birds in the continental United States. And the chipping sparrow is widespread. It has a range across all North America, and it feeds on seeds and I suspect sometimes on insects. Now, if you go by Darwin and the Galapagos Islands, if I remember that correctly, where he was, and he's talking about evolution and how different birds developed different beaks for different kinds of food. So uh, you would have different variations depending on what they fed on, and there's no more better example of that than a hummingbird. There's some hummingbirds out there that they only have curved bills and they only feed on one specific flower, and I find that really interesting. My connection to birds is through childhood. I've said this in another video talking about this red cap mannequin here. Oh, that's the tree. This red cap mannequin, and I had a budgie. I had a cockatoo, cockatiel, not a cockatoo. Cockatiel's name was Peter, and he was one of my friends, my only friends as a child. So I really love birds, and of course the symbolism and my obsession with aviation and so on and so forth. Um, if I'm going to say anything about it, um, birds are really strange, right? They're flying lizards. They're dinosaurs. Let's see. Okay, back to this finch. I want to call it a finch, but it's not a finch. It's a sparrow. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about the difficulties in doing this and why I chose certain things. Now, I wanted to do a clean drawing, and what I mean by a clean drawing is that it is just the subject and not the background. Like there's nothing filled in here, versus say this African gray, which I did last week or before that. And of course, you can notice the difference, of the direct influence of the old sweet leaf, which I really like. I tend to loosen up and be more expressive. And the pencil strokes and everything else, in my opinion, comes out more like a child would do it, versus something professional. Professional. And if I'm going to say if something is professional or not, I think, yeah, the KC 135 is in here. It's in this sketchbook, I think. No, it's in the other one. Anyways, so we're going to go back to, again, the griping and how different these images really are. If I were to put them in comparison with each other. So there's the griping versus the mannequin. Okay, two more. Versus the finch. Again, I would keep on calling it a finch, but it's a sparrow. And other choices, like I didn't quite have the right mixture of pencils to get the brown, the golden brown on the sparrow's back correct. The thing that I find limiting about pencil crayons, of course, is a constraint of the medium, in which it can only be mixed on the paper. And the pigment, the actual stuff in the center of the pencil, is of great uh, determination in the outcome of the entire piece, because how well it wants to blend. Like say like a pencil, a very hard pencil, say like this 4H here, a very hard pencil, versus something soft. So I got a 10B. But I'll use. Yeah, I'll just pull up the 10B. So the 10B is very soft, and you won't find these in as commonplace. If I were to put a stroke on a 10, with a 10 rather. Let's go back to. There's a page in here which I was teaching my nephew, anyways, how to use blending stops. So focus, you fuck. There we go. So at the 10, you see how the paper dictates the texture, and the pressure, how much pressure you put on the paper influences how much concentration there is. So if I'm going to use, say, a Faber-Castell here, and I'm gonna just do this. So from hard pressure to very light pressure. So Faber-Castell, I find they're very good. I love them. They're, in my opinion, superior to something like these guys, the Prismacolor. Prismacolor is more forgiving, in my opinion, but it's also the pigment is very soft, and it breaks. The greatest problem I have with pencil crayons is these stupid fucking sharpeners. Okay, they just eat the pigment, because the size of the opening is not directly matched. There's a bit of a wiggle room in here. Okay, and every time that you just slightly mishandle the pencil, it breaks the pigment. And I think that's terrible. That's fucking terrible. A piece of shit. Okay. Other stuff. Why did I choose certain things? Well, okay, the influences. Again, this was intended for July 4th. The flowers are a reference to Georgia O'Keeffe. And I was watching the PBS special about Georgia O'Keeffe and her work. And of course, I became familiar with Georgia in my teenage years, in like when we're going through explorations in high school art class. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I may make an adjustment in here before I take a final photo, but otherwise, this is really good to me. I wish that I had, again, the right color to get the golden yellow hue that isn't quite this color here. Here, I think that's a peach. And no, that's not a peach. This is a Spanish orange. This one here. That's a Prismacolor. Again, I find that the Prismacolors, they blend really well because they're softer. But at a certain point, you might as well just go to an oil pastel. I would say that this is about as, to do something like this is about as unforgiving as watercolors can be, and because like the paper can only take so much stress, right? Every time you press on it, it's stressing out the fibers, and then you continue to do that. You continue to mishandle the paper, it'll start self-destructing, and it will ruin the image. That's what I've learned since, I don't know, how long have I been drawing? Since I was a child, honestly, and I started drawing well. I was a teenager. I was like 13 or 14 years old. So it's been a long road. I got to tell you, just the way it is, I suppose. Anyways, we just broke 10 minutes. I'm gonna put this on Facebook as an art talk about this chipping sparrow, and there is another reason as to why I chose this sparrow, and I'm probably gonna do another drawing. It'll be a Carolina. It be a Carolina chickadee, which is going to be a little bit more cartoonish. I haven't done a cartoon in recent memory, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, if there's other stuff that I want to mention, it's the hatching, the cross hatching, for the feathers and stuff like that. That's what I really like doing, is the filling in with all of that. Again, by the time that it's finished, you don't even know the line drawing is there, right? And that's the point. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this chipping sparrow for America's 250th birthday. And before I close this video, this is, if you didn't notice, this is what I did for Canada Day. And I thought about this, and this was also a response to a well-established portrait artist. If you ask me, every one of these leaves represents an artist in Canada. So, it takes a long time to cultivate this kind of skill. It's not something that is born overnight and then just instantaneously is what it is. As a person, I am influenced by many things, but the one thing I'm not going to be influenced by, anyways, as soon as we can flip this page, is a compromise in my artistic integrity. I won't be doing work for people that I don't agree with. That's just the beginning and the end of it. As much as I would like to keep politics out of art, well, unfortunately, sooner or later, it pops up its ugly head and people get offended. And those people, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you're getting offended over politics, we got bigger problems on our hands. Anyways, so that's that. Enough rambling. This has been the Chipping Sparrow. I'm going to do another one, another bird, soon, very soon. It's good.